Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at my keyboard, so the ZSA Voyager. So we'll have a bit of a look through it, and I'll go through the pros and cons and yeah, see where we get to. So why did I pick the ZSA Voyager? I think the initial reason was I was suffering from hand pain when I was typing, and I'd added some Carpio wrist rests which helped. So for those of you who haven't seen a Carpio wrist rest, it's kind of a little device, sits in your palm and it glides around and just provides you with a bit of support. And they're really good, but they weren't the complete answer for me. So I did loads and loads of research and came up with this crazy keyboard as being the answer. So I've gone from, that's probably my most used keyboard ever. It's a Logitech K810, so Bluetooth, had 3 radios, which was ideal at the time. I think it was one of the first keyboards that came with that. Put some little feet on it. Used it for ages and ages and ages. Replaced that then with a very similar keyboard, so probably the natural successor, so the MX Keys Mini. And this had the same Bluetooth radios, and I didn't need to put feet on it because it's got a battery compartment underneath there. And then at the same time, I'm not a keyboard enthusiast or a gamer by any stretch of the imagination, but I was playing a couple of games. So I played Doom 2016 and then played Doom Eternal, and I was awful at Doom Eternal, so it must be the keyboard, right? Couldn't be me. So I invested in this, which is an absolute behemoth of a keyboard. And it was just way too big. It's fine as a keyboard, but just way too big. Just on the floor, so it's out of the way. And then I replaced that. I got my son one of these. So it's a Cooler Master keyboard, mechanical, so it's super loud. And for gaming, that worked really well. I got better at Doom Eternal. So yeah, there we go. And so I'm used to smaller form factor keyboards, and they've all been wireless. The 2 gaming keyboards you can link wired, but I've always used them wirelessly. So the ZSA is a wired keyboard, which was a little bit of a culture shock. So like I say, I did an awful lot of research on things that can improve hand pain, and I think that the split keyboard concept resonated with me. And also this is ortholinear, so the keys aren't staggered, they're all just in rows, and I'll show you a little bit in a minute on that. And also I found that I was kind of hunching over the desk, I was sort of really bending forwards, my hands were not in a good position, so the split element really helps with that. So let's have a quick look at the keyboard itself. As you can see, it's in 2 halves. I've got an Apple trackpad in the middle of it here, and we've got a cable which connects the 2 halves. I think it's a TRRS cable, so it's like a headphone jack, but it's got more pins wired up inside. I think it's 4 pins per side. And then we've got a USB-C cable just to connect it to the computer. The other thing you'll probably notice is it's got an awful lot less keys than a regular keyboard, but it's a sturdy little thing, and it does have lighting, and it's mechanical if you're into that sort of thing. And I think in this one I've got brown switches, Kale brown switches. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's the option I went with. So my first impressions weren't that positive. Not really because of the keyboard, but because it was such a big change. Ergonomically, it worked better, being able to sit apart. But I made a fatal error to start with, was that I thought the cable that came with the keyboard was a bit long, so I made my own cable much shorter, and made it too short, so I was back to that hunched up position, which kind of defeated the object. So I went back to the regular keyboard, and I noticed that lots of people who were using the ZSA put an Apple trackpad in between. So I've got an Apple trackpad, so I did that as well. And the bonus, I guess, with that was, as it sat on my desk, I'm mainly a PC user. I I found a fantastic little utility. I'll link the website in the description, which allows you to use the trackpad with Windows, and you can do 1, 2, 3, 4 finger gestures, absolutely everything you need to. So yeah, that was pretty cool, and it also forces the keyboard apart, and it keeps it apart because there's something physical now in the middle. So that was kind of the first mistake I made. The second kind of negative, I guess, was the software just didn't seem to work for me. We'll have a look at the software in a minute. But yeah, just couldn't get it to do the Windows shortcuts that I wanted to. I did umpteen different configurations on the layout, which is something that you can do, and I'll probably do a few more. I'm fairly settled where I am now. I did think about changing it from QWERTY, so you can use other layouts. Just have a drink. But I'm sticking with QWERTY, and I think that's why it was a big shock to start with, because my typing speed, I'm not a hugely fast typer, went from kind of 60 to 70 words a minute, maybe a little bit more than that on a good day, down to like 15 to 20. So yeah, I think the combination of the software, I think it was that ortholinear layout was actually really, really different for me. But the one thing that I did really gel with were the thumb keys down the bottom. So I'll just hold one up actually. So that's one half. So you get these 2 extra keys down the bottom, and when your hand is on it, your thumbs just very naturally land in that position. So I've seen some complaints about that on other reviews, but they're pretty well placed for me and my hands. The other bit I found was a really cool website which helps you type, and it does it in a slightly different way. It kind of adds keys as you go, and I'm slowly but surely increasing my typing speed on the keyboard, because I decided, I think the trap I fell into was that it didn't work, kind of straight away. So I naturally just went back to a QWERTY keyboard, and then that wasn't a good idea, and then you're kind of back to square one. So I've decided to stick with it and really get used to it. So what do we get in the box? So I've got the box over here, so it comes in handy dandy little box. It comes with a carry case. Carry case is great. Put each half of the keyboard in either side of the bag. It does have some zipper sections, which I think are for the wires, but I tend to carry this thing around with me everywhere I go, and the wires go in there, they fit better in there. So this is solely used for the little feet that come with the keyboard, and you just slip either side in, because one of the advantages is it's a programmable keyboard. Whichever layout I put in is actually stored with the keyboard, so if I go into the office or whatever, then the layout and all the settings are exactly the same as they are here, that was an important consideration. But we'll have a quick look at the software in a minute. Let's just put this box open. So you get 3 USB-C cables with it, of various different lengths, and also you get the connector cable, and then you get this little cardboard, so you can see some of they are brown switches. So this is magnetic. I'll pop that open. And they do give you lots of different keycaps. I'll keep that at a much lesser angle now as the switches come out, but as one of the switches has fallen out, they're tiny little low profile switches, so they've been pretty good. And some of the keys, if I can persuade one to come out, there we go. You've got an H there with the little home row knob on it. So if you are using alternate layouts, you're covered there. And there are a couple of ones with no characters on, so you can have a completely custom layout if you want to. So let's have a look at the 2 bits of software that we've got. So the first one is called Keymap, and it's a cracking bit of software. So yeah, so the Keymap software you can see here is just kind of, this is my layout as it were. And on the keyboard, if I hit the S key, you can see there's a slightly different character there. So these are called layers. And because you've got so few keys, you can see we've got the QWERTY layout there, and then a few characters around the edges, but nowhere near as a conventional keyboard. So I hit S, then I use these page up, page down, home and end an awful lot. So I'm used to doing that on the smaller keyboards with a function key, so I always have to hit a key anyway. And then, as you can see there, they're surrounded in yellow, and they light up in yellow on the keyboard. And then if I click the 2, I've got various controls there, so I can change my volume and whatnot. I can change the colour of the keyboard, and I've also got some arrow keys as well, which I find really handy. And I've also put home, end, page up, page down there too, and a couple of different. Obviously, I've been playing around with this, and then this layer is your numeric pad, and again, because that's in red, the keys light up in red, and also all your characters light up in blue, so you can see where things are. And you can keep adding to these layers, and you can change all the keys as well. So the reason I use this is I've got this on screen permanently at the minute as I train myself to use it, because I can't remember, for example, on this one, where the brightness controls are or something like that, because that's still 4 and 5 on the legends on the keyboard. And if we go to this one, yeah, all the characters, some of the characters are on the main layer here, so you can see colon and comma and whatnot. And then I did have to do a bit of research or a bit of searching on the website to find out how to get the non-US characters. But I can change absolutely everything on this keyboard. So if I hit edit, it opens this this utility called Oryx, which is on the web. And again, you can see this is my layout. I can click on the various different layers here, so you can see what I've got in there. So if I go back to main, and if I click on the modify layout here, then we're actually in the mod mode. So I'm just going to click on a button there. So if we do the number 6, then there's only the one thing applied to this key. So when tapped, you would hit 6, but you can also hold the key down and it will change the activity of the key. Double tapped or tapped and then held. You can put a label. This is where you set the colour. So if I go to one of those other layers, so we've got 7 there, you can see that I've put it on red. And then if I go back to the main layer again, so we have this key. So when held, it activates layer 3. So it's super simple to use. And then this one is my right Windows key and Shift key. So we can have a look at that. So when tapped, it's Windows key and Shift. So that's the wrong way around. Because I use the snipping tool all the time. So I just hit that one and R or S pops up the snipping tool, which is super cool. I'll probably play around a bit more with this as we go, and you can program in macros and all sorts of other bits and pieces, and then you literally hit compile layout, upload it to the keyboard, and it takes less than a minute, it's seconds, and your new layout saved. There is a settings icon here where you can get really granular with things, with timeouts, the combos. You've got some international settings. You can actually use this as a mouse as well, but obviously I still use a mouse and the key and the trackpad. You've got RGB. There's every different setting that you could ever imagine there, if you like that sort of thing. So pretty flexible, really. While we're on here, let's have a quick look at the website, and we'll get to the biggest shock, I guess. So that's the keyboard without any of the legends on there. So you can actually buy this in black or white. You can have the US layout, but because I'm from the UK, I went with the international because I like the app key over here and the quotation marks up there. So I did that one. Oops, sorry. So we've got the international layout as well, which removes the legends from these keys. And we've also got blank, which is just a spot. So if you're a really good typist, then you can use that. I'm not as good a typist as that. Get choice on the switches, as you can see. Mine are brown. I'm not going to go into that because I'm not a keyboard expert. And then you've got the price. Wow, that's a whopping price, and that made me think very, very long and hard about buying this keyboard. But a few months later, I'm really glad I did. I think it was a good buy. And then we get a bit more of a view of what's in the box there. So you can see the 3 different USB cables there, and then that's the link cable. You also get a keyboard and switch puller, and a USB-C to USB-A converter there. So I guess in conclusion, has it actually worked? Is the joint pain reducing in my fingers and whatnot? Am I getting any faster with typing? All that type of thing. What's the durability of the device being like? So in terms of build, it's been absolutely rock solid. It is a metal base. It's a plastic top underneath the keys. And I believe these keycaps are custom made for ZSA. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, no issues with that at all at the moment. But I will do a follow-up review, and maybe we'll delve a little bit more into the way I'm training myself to use this keyboard, and whether we ever do delve away from QWERTY into one of the other myriad of keyboard layouts that this keyboard can do. In terms of the hand pain, yes, I think it is helping actually. Like I said, I was rubbish at Doom Eternal. There's a new Doom game coming out soon, so I decided to try and beat everything on Doom Eternal, which I've done, but using the using this guy. But moving from the ZSA to this keyboard, the ZSA seemed to be alleviating the pain. A couple of hours on this, my fingers are really painful. So yeah, I don't think that's doing me any good. So maybe when this new Doom game comes out, I'll actually try gaming on this keyboard. So maybe we can do that as a follow-up as well, and see what it's like. I'm sure it'll be fine. So yeah, I'm going to stick with it because I think it is helping my joint pain. And if I can, yeah, cut out the other use of keyboards 100%, I think we'll be there. The software is fantastic. The Oryx and the key map are brilliant, and I guess the bonus is I've found that utility, so I can use the trackpad as well. Yeah, that's pretty good. The only thing I find the trackpad not great for is resizing windows, but everything else, all the swipes, yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, was it worth it? I think yeah, that answer is definitely yes. I know it's an awful lot of money to spend, and people will probably think, well, you spent all that money, you're not going to say no, it wasn't worth it, but I'm still using it, and I'll carry on use it. So in terms of the typing speed, as I said, I went from kind of 60 to 70 down to 15 to 20. I'm back up into the 30s, low 40s now after about a week of using this website, so I will link that in the description. So we'll do a couple of follow-up videos on this keyboard and my journey with it. So we'll cover off, have I got back to normal typing speed, or maybe even got quicker in the end. That would be nice. Has the joint pain gone completely? Is it any good for games? Is it good for gaming? I'm not a competitive gamer, so I'm sure it'll be fine for me. And then we'll also play with some tenting options. So when you tilt the keyboard more, so at the moment it's got no feet on it at all, but we'll gradually increase that angle. I have seen some people using it literally like this. Whether I'll get to there, I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll come back and we'll revisit this at a later video. So that's it for today. Like I say, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.